All right, so we're working on the spare Prius. We got Roland on right here. We are going to do the brake actuator, which is a common failure part. It's behind there. You're gonna have to take off the windshield wipers and then the windshield wiper shields. Before doing any of that, you're gonna wanna go to the back and disconnect the battery, and then take off the emergency battery service guy. The car is already disconnected, so we're good, but go do that. All right, to start this, you're gonna take off your windshield wipers, which are these two for right here, and then take that cap off and that one for right there, and they just pull right off like that. Then you're gonna want to pop this guy off, and it comes off in two pieces, but they hinge right here too. They just clip in the top. You can just pull it out like that. Just like that. And then after you get the top shields off, you're gonna have 7 bolts in here, right?
Yes, 7.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then take those off. For what we just did, 2 are small. Those ones, these are tiny. The other 5 are bigger, all the same, and they all have washers. You can put them all into the yogurt tub. Shout out TJ's. After that, this is loose, which is nice. So now we can take this whole thing out of here. We're just gonna lift it all out. So we're just gonna lift this thing out, actually, not this thing out yet. All right, so for this, you should be able to just do it with your fingers. Just push it and then pull it right out, easy. And then this can come out just like that. After that, you're gonna have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to take this out. You versus the guy she tells you not to worry about.
Bruh.
All right, these 7 we're just gonna keep separate. They're the same as the 2 small ones, but we're just gonna keep them separate. For this, now you just need to pop off these little clips right here and right here from the back side. Just pop them out, and then you can pull this away, and then this tray will lift out. If you see the top, we just push it down like that, and then we're gonna wiggle it, and then the bottom, it's easier to do the bottom first. You wiggle it down, then push the top, and then you can just pull it right out, and do that with all 3. So for this one, it's kind of the same thing, but there's a clip under here on the bottom that you press, and then you can pull it out from the top. Now we can just pull this out, just like that, and it's free. You'll want to pull your little cover off. It has these little clips in it. You can pop them off, and then it'll just pop right off, and you'll be free. So now you're gonna take off all of these. So these are all 10 millimeters as well, I believe. Yeah, they're all 10 millimeters, and then you have one I believe it's a T27 Torx. That's a T30 Torx. Other than that, they're all 10 millimeters all around. So you're gonna wanna take that off, and then you can start, after that, unclipping these guys from the back. And, well, first we're gonna check with the multimeter to make sure there's no electricity. So for that, it's gonna be 12 10s plus 1 T30 Torx. Now we got our multimeter, and we're gonna open this up and test a couple of the places to make sure we don't die. We're gonna test over here. Nothing's jumping, nothing's jumping. We tested this multimeter on the battery in my car before. And we're gonna test over here. Nothing's jumping, nothing's jumping. We're gonna test over here. Nothing's jumping. Oh, it's jumping a little bit. No, it's not jumping. It's going back. Stable. Okay. Go right here. Just redundancy. Nope. Okay, we're good. Now that you got the top off, you need to take off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 12. We could take that off and it'll be easier too. Or we can leave it on. So 12 and then 13. And then you gotta unclip this. 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 There's one under that. And then this is coming out too. And that comes out too. That is from the bottom right there. These two outside screws are shorter than these ones on the inside. These ones on the inside are long and have washers like this. That's the difference. So now that you got all those out and the side ones, you can just pull that right out, put it aside, and then these ones are all gonna unclip just from the side like that. Might need two hands. We'll come back to that. And then this one is gonna come out from the bottom. It's a little stuck in there, but you get the idea. And then this one's gonna unclip from here on the side. And then these are gonna unclip as well. So unclip those, then you can pull this out and twist it over. There's also this one on the side you gotta get right here. All right, so once you got all these off, that one, that one, that one, then you're gonna have this one to get off, this one going sideways, then this one behind it, right there, going vertical, so vertical, horizontal, then that one over there. That's your piece you're trying to get to. These are gonna be your brake lines you're gonna take off later. And then over here, all right, this one has got a lock on the side, so you're gonna have to pull this tab up before you can unlock it. You gotta pull the tab up like that. So we're gonna take off that 10mm too, so that once this is loose, this is attached to right here, so it can just be free. So for this one, after you get that locking tab up right here, you're gonna push back on that like that with your thumb in order to pull it off, or it's never gonna come loose. For this clip, there's a push on that side, so it's kind of hard, but you have to push it down like that and then pull it out. And then for that one, the clip is on the top, and same thing, just push it down and then it should pull right off. It's easier with two hands. For this clip, you just need to pull that one up with a little screwdriver, and then it just slides right off. So it's just that little clip on the side right there. Pry it up. All right, we got the inverter lid back on with just 2 screws just to keep it clean. We got all the connectors out. Now we're gonna lift this up and just turn it over so we don't have to take off the coolant lines and drain the coolant and then refill the coolant, because no one wants to do that. So just lift it up, turn it over. It's gonna kink. We're actually gonna turn it over this way. It's gonna kink that line a little bit right there, but it'll be okay. And then this, that's our prize right there. After we do that, we're gonna undo all these brake cables off of here. We need to get a water bottle ready to catch some brake fluid, and then we'll take off the 3 bolts that hold the bracket that this is on, and we'll shimmy this out and replace it. All right, and we got that over here. These are kinked a little bit. We scratched this up a little bit with the bottom of this. It's sharp, be careful. So that's kinked, work fast. That's what we need to get out. We got a lot going on here. All these brake lines need to come out. And then this, we're probably gonna take that bracket off, so this has room to move. there's gonna be 2 bolts that hold this bracket on. One is going to be right here in that hole, and one is going to be right there in that hole. And then once you get that loose, this can come loose. And there's one electrical connector on the back right there. And then once you get that out, this whole thing can kind of flip out of your way. So we're gonna get the 3 that hold this bracket down. It's that one right there. That's one. Then there's this 2 right there. And then over here, where are you? 3 right there. That one. This guy is just a nut that goes on the back of that one in there. Yeah, that one right there. This one is a 12 as well, and it goes in the front bracket hole right here. And then this one is a 10 millimeter, and that one goes in right there. That bolt on the bottom, it is a mounting bolt for the actual ABS unit to the bracket. You don't need to take that one out until it gets out. The bolt back there is another 12 millimeter nut. You need to take that one out. For the brake lines, you'll need a 10 millimeter flare nut wrench, and then you'll be able to just slide them on the sides like that and crack them on loose. All of them, same. And take them all off. Be careful not to bend them up too much. We got all 5 of the brake lines undone. I got a little towel to catch the fluid that's dripping out. And now we got to take off this electrical connector. This comes out towards us, pulls out, and then that pulls off that way. And then we got to take off this one hose right here. Out, out, off, out of the way. Don't forget the brake line on the top, or you'll have a bad time. And also, when you take off that hose, a lot of brake fluid's gonna spill out everywhere. You might want to have a, yeah, it's gonna spill everywhere.
Oh, I mean the hose.
Oh, yeah, the hose is right here. My bad. Connects to right there. You'll get a lot of it out. So we have everything taken off, except for this bracket right here, which holds the fuel line. And there's 2 bolts. There's one right here, right there. And then there's one on the other side of that piece. Over there. Right there. Once you get that bracket off, then we can pull this whole system out. It'll be free. Now this guy is loose. You can see the whole thing is moving. You just gotta shimmy it out with there's a weight on the bottom that hangs down, and it'll catch if you don't pull it up and then out. So it kind of turns like that because it's kind of like an L, Y. All right, we got the piece out. So this water pump has a lot of brake fluid on it. Has one connector right here that you push back on this and just pop right off the top right here. And then there is this guy in here with the same tabs. You got to push from the bottom, and then this will pop off, and then this can come forward, and it'll be easier to get the new part in. If you can do that before you get it out, that works, but I could not get that clip out. We got this out. That's the big weight on the bottom. It's heavy. And yeah, so you gotta just take this off. We're gonna see where it holds exactly, and then we'll put the new one on and swap it back. So you're gonna have 2 screws on this side. One's a 12, one's a 10. And then over here, You're gonna have another 10 over there, and then you got 1 12 up here, and then you're gonna have 3 12s to get off this weight. It's actually only the 2 12s. That one does not connect to the weight, and this stand can come off. Get the old part out. There's a couple bushings. That's the old one. Now we got to transfer the new one onto the stand. And then there's 1 12 on the side to take off this bracket. That's it. There's a bracket that goes on the bottom, this guy, and you got to put that in first, just like that. And that bottom hole right there is a 12. You got to do that before you can put it on the stand, because this gets locked in under the weight. The weight goes on top of this. So once you lock that in nice and tight, you can flip the whole thing over, and then that pin bushing goes into here, just like that, bushing in, and then the little side guys right there on either side, they're in. And now we can tighten these down. Then you got this bracket that goes back on top right here. You got a 12 nut right there, and then a 12 bolt right there, and that's insecure. Now we got the weight, which goes in right there with 2 12s, one on either side. This piece is ready. We're still leaving the plastic brake line caps in right now, so nothing gets in there. And now it's ready to go back in. So the piece is back in. It's much easier to put back in than take out, and also much easier with 2 people. This over here will be bent up like that, and then you can slide it in, and then you'll have someone hold this, or you can zip tie it, and then you'll have someone hold these demon claws of brake lines, and then on the top the 2 brake lines will snag, and then once it's in, it'll be hinged on the back right there, and then same on the other side over there, right there, and then there's 1 bolt that lines up right there. So 2 nuts and 1 bolt. So you're just gonna slap those in, bracket it down. So we got those 3 bolts in, 1 on that side, 1 on that side, 1 right there. Now we're going to put the bracket for the fuel line back on the end of here. In order to get that bracket on, we're gonna put these brake lines back in because they're a little bent, so we need to get them bent back properly, and then we can put the brackets on. And then we're gonna put this brake hose. This is the main feeder from the reservoir. We're gonna plug it back into this clear one at the end, and it's got a hose clamp too that you're gonna need pliers for. So we got all the brake lines back in. That's a little chewed up right there. That sucks, but it'll work. I got the top ones in. This one sits in this little housing. This one sits in this little housing. Now we can put the side brackets on, now that we know these are where they need to be. All right, so once you got the bracket on for the fuel line and the bracket on for the brake lines, you can see it down there. That's a 10mm bolt, the gold one. Over here is gonna be a 10mm nut. You can't see it. Then you're gonna put your fuel line back in this little bracket like that. And then that's all buttoned up. He's fine. It's just gonna sit like that. Now we can start buttoning up all that stuff. Now we're gonna tighten up all of our brake lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Tighten them all up. Use your line wrench at the end. Do not strip these bitches. All right, once you get your brake lines back in, and it's easier if you pull the water pump forward to get them in. It gives you more space on the side. Once you get all your brake lines back in, and hopefully you don't chew them up too much. Hopefully you use the line wrench, and try not to hate yourself the whole time you're doing it and feel like you're pushing a ball up the hill that's forever gonna roll back down. Once you get that done, 1 on the top, then you can start plugging that back in this connector, the top connector. That goes right in there. And well, first this comes out. This is a lock. So that comes out, then it plugs in, then push that back in. And make sure your brake lines are all in their little houses up top too, right there, the little houses. So we're gonna plug that back in, and then we're gonna start bolting down. So this bracket bolts down to the big bracket. We're gonna bolt that down, make sure all the coolant lines are back in their couplings. Then we're gonna bolt down this condenser line. It bolts down right there in that bracket, like that. We're gonna bolt that down there. And then after that, we're going to connect our plug back to the end of the water pump right there. Once that's plugged in, then we can put the converter, we can flip it back in and start plugging in the wire to the front side of it, and then the one right here to the bottom of it. And then there's another plug right here that connects to the side over there. So there's a clip for this that pops into here. You need to put that back in before you put that clip on, or else this wire is going to be stuck on that side and you're going to have to take that out again like I just did. So once you get that clip in with that wire harness, then you can plug this bad boy back in, just like that, and it's clipped in. And then this guy right here, you got one screw right there, and then one screw over here on this side. Where is it? Oh, the bracket was underneath, right there. That's the other one, and they're both 10 millimeters. They are these. That's connected. There will be a gap there, don't worry about that. It's supposed to be a gap. Then you have that bolt back there connecting this bracket down, as well as that bolt right there, those two 10s. Then you have one 10 right here for this condenser line bracket, goes straight into there. And then you can start putting these couplings, clip your coolant hose back into these couplings. There's one right there, and then there'll be one down here. This one turns, so you can turn it back, pop the coolant hose back in there. And then you're going to have a clip right here that we took off, where this clips onto here, and it just goes on straight like that, just like that. It's clipped back on, nice and snug. So all that's good and tidy. We got all of our connectors. We connected that one back, so that's all good. And we made sure the line was on the right side with this clip. That'll be a problem if you don't. Also, note, when doing this, I ended up with an extra really long bolt. I had no idea where it went. This one is a 10 millimeter, and that one goes in right there. And it's my first time ever doing this job, so maybe you might experience that too. See the one in the middle that's shining? That's where the really long one goes. I don't even know if I had to take that out or why I took it out. All right, so that bolt on the bottom, it is a mounting bolt for the actual ABS unit to the bracket. You don't need to take that one out until it gets out. The bolt back there is another 12 millimeter nut. You need to take that one out. The one in the back right there, that's a nut. That's a mounting bracket for the Y bracket for the piece you take out. The one in the front, that's a shorter 10 that goes to the bracket that mounts the water pump down to the bracket that you take off. So if you have an extra screw and you're looking at for where it goes, it might be that middle one. That's what it was for me. So now we're going to take all of these connectors and get them up out of the way, and we're going to put the inverter, we're going to flip it back like that, and then start putting the connectors in from the bottom into the inverter and screwing them in the top. So we flipped it back. There's the connector under here. That one, it's helpful if one person holds this up while another person just puts the connector in and threads in one of the 10 millimeters on top. There's one there and then one there on the side, and then that'll sit there, because that's going to be the most difficult part of getting the inverter back in. And then you want to line that hole, where are you? Yeah, that hole. And then those are the two that bracket it back in. And then we're going to put this connector back into there. But we have a bunch of other connectors, so we're going to connect everything back up, and then we'll put these big ones back in like that and screw them in. And then we're going to take the lid off and screw the 3 in from the top. All right, so once you got the inverter kind of back seated, you got to redo all these. So first we're going to do this black one, It goes right there, clips in, nice. Get that out of the way so we can see. Next, we have this one goes on that. This one goes on the one behind it, like that. Thank you, brother. And then this one goes on the top, like that. Make sure they all clip in. You wanna hear them clip. That one's not clipped, see? Why are you not clipped? Is it the wrong way? It would not go on if it was the wrong way. Some of them you gotta push. There you go. So you got 1, 2, 3 all clipped in. Then you can clip in these ones. It's gonna be the top and the bottom one. We'll do the bottom one first so we have room to do the top. That's much easier with 2 hands. There we go, clip. There we go, clip those 2 in. So the back's snug as a bug in a rug. We're gonna put this bad boy in to the side right here. And then we're going to put the 2 10s into here. And then we can put the other 10 into there, tighten up that 10. And then we'll open this up so that we can put all these connectors inside. You can have one more connector up front, and then this bracket is gonna go right onto there, just like that. And then this connects down into there, and this is the one with the green lock that goes in here. Once you got that clipped in there, then you're gonna just lock it, and that's good. And then you can take your bracket with the 10mm bolt. Oh, jeez, don't hurt yourself. And then put the 10mm in right there. This little guy clips on to that plastic, or it's actually metal, that metal bracket on the back, just on the bottom, like through there, right there. So if you took that off, clip it back onto that bracket right there, like that. Now we're gonna take this lid off the inverter. It's nice and clean. And then this little rubber guy sits right in here, like that. And then the crash sensor will go right on the side. Crash sensor goes in there, click it in, and then you got all of these little guys. That guy clicks in right there. That guy clicks in right there, and then that guy clicks in right there. Perfect. So all of those are clipped up. Get your crash sensor clipped up. Then you're gonna screw in your 3 10s into there, and those will be separate because they're nice and clean. You should have separated them. And then 3 10s into there, same thing, clean 10s. Once you get all 6 of your shiny 10s in, then you can throw the lid back on and tighten up all of the dirty 10s and the 1 T30 Torx. All right, once you have this back in place and everything connected, you're gonna bolt it down, and there's 3 12s and 1 in the back. We already put it in. It's right there. And then these 2 in the front, 1, 2. Now we're gonna reinstall this guy. Once you got that seated in there, there's gonna be 7 of these. Actually, these are 12s. Do they fit in that or no?
I haven't tried.
You try? Okay. Yeah, these are 10s. So 7 10s. 1 right there. 1 right there. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now we're gonna put back all these clips into here for the relay box, and this clip on the top right there, just like that. And the bottom ones will go into their little holes. Just a little note, these bolts can snap off easily, like that one that snapped off in there, so be careful. You see they're kind of rusted and old. Yeah. So also the clips go into the back, not the top. I know I pointed to the top earlier, it's actually the back. for all of them. This is the only one that goes in the top. And then you're gonna get your relay box back in with the two 10 millimeters on either side. And after that, we can put in the wiper blade assembly. All right, now you're gonna put on the wiper blade assembly with the motor, and it's these 5 10 millimeters. And then you're gonna hook up the one clip to there. Make sure it clips. Once you get those all 5 10s bolted in, you're gonna put this one back on, and it's just clips right in. And you just snap the clips in. And these are the ones that actually clip into the top right here and right here from the bottom of there. So you just pop it right in there. And then this side needs to go down first because it's got a lip that this side sits on top of. All right, once you get that all buttoned up, you can put your wipers back on. It's easier to do this one with the hood down. And then you're gonna pop the cap back on, just like that. Then the Fat Boy goes on, and those are just both those little caps, like that. I'll just hand thread them on at first. And get the other one on. Okay. Alright, now that everything's all buttoned up nice, we can pop this back on. And there's these little tab things, but we only have 2. There's supposed to be quite a few, but it's okay. It's been fine with just 2. It'll continue to be fine. Now we're gonna replace the resistor, which is under the dash. So you're gonna go under, it's gonna be up here. Let me put a light on. All right, we got the light on. So you go right under there and then twist around, twist your body, and it's right there. It's that guy right here. And this is the cord, it plugs in right here. So the cord just goes around, and then this is secured by this one 10 millimeter bolt right there. So you can see it, that's it right here. That one. 10 millimeter right on top, the highest one. I got my 1/2 inch to fit up in there to crack it loose because the 1/4 inch was not cracking it. And I needed more leverage, but once I got it loose right now, I'm just gonna switch to the 1/4 inch to take it out all the way. Okay, scratch that. I'm just taking it out the rest of the way with my hand because that's much easier. And then it's just that little nut right there. Once you get that guy out, your resistor is just, it's linked onto the back with a little like hook, but it'll fall right down once you just kind of mess with it. There it is right there. It's kind of stuck on some wires. Be careful, you don't want to snag anything and rip anything. There it is. And then you just unplug the blue up here. There's a tab on the back. Push it, and I should just pull. I should just pull loose, but I'm gonna do it with 2 hands. All right, we got the new one clicked up. It's just that push tab and pull out. It's super easy. So for the new one, you're gonna want to get it back onto that bracket right there. Right there. Focus. Right there. And then you see that moving right there? That little oval hole is where you stick the screw guy through. And then you can put the nut on, but you're gonna need 2 hands. So that's where it is. You see it coming through right there. That's where it goes. What I did was I pushed these cables behind it to get leverage. And then it was able to stick in the hole and kind of hang there. And then I very gently screwed the nut on the back hand tight, and now I'm going to tighten it. But if you could see right here, I'll pull these wires out because they're hanging on the back of the resistor. You can see I stuffed them way back on the back side of it to like push it forward, and that was the trick that worked for me. I don't know, whatever works. This was hard. All right, so we shut the back and the battery's off and it locked, so we're climbing through. But the hell was that? Oh, the door closed. So we're gonna reconnect this guy first, and then we'll reconnect the emergency disconnect. So over here, we took off that with 110mm right into the wall right there, and then we unplugged this. So we're gonna replug these back into here on the front. We're gonna put the positive back on, but first we're gonna put the negative back on. We got smart and turned on a light, so that's where it goes. We used a 1/4 inch on an extension. It's a 10mm. We're just gonna snug it up. Okay, and then we can put this guy back on here, and then you'll have to tighten up the side. Doesn't want to go on. There we go. You'll have to tighten up the side right here. Snug it up, and then you can fit the extension in the side right there. And just tighten it down. Alright, once you get that tightened down on the side, then you can plug this one back in. They're kind of stiff, but this one goes right here, like that. Don't lose that one. So that one clicks in, and then this one over here, where does it go? It goes right here. Clicks in, just like that. Those two are good. And then we're gonna do this guy. So on this side of the car, you got this guy, and this guy goes in. We got a light, so you can see the plug like that. And those two like that, so it goes in like that. When it wants to go in, maybe the other way. Yeah, the other way, with the numbers on top. So it goes in like that, and then that goes down, and then this clicks down like that, and then it's in there snug. You got power back to the car. Also, you're gonna want to put this cover back on. All right, so to bleed them, you're gonna do the same thing on all 4 corners. Jack her up on your jacking point on the thicker part of the pinch weld. Then you're gonna find your bleeder valve, pop off the little rubber cap, and then you're gonna get your silicone tubing, which is linked up to your bleeder bottle, and you're going to put her just right on top like that. And once she's snug, you're gonna loosen up this bolt right here. We have a monkey wrench, but you can use whatever works best for you. And then once you loosen up the bolt, you're gonna have someone come out and help you push the brake pedal. When you have your wheel cracked, and you can use an 8mm on the bleeder valve to crack it, and then loosen it and tighten it with a monkey wrench after that. Put on your silicone hose, have it ready, then have someone come in here. You push the pedal and you can hear the buzzing. That's the accumulator running, building pressure. When you have your bleeder valve on there and cracked open, you can have someone push this and hold this until the buzzing starts, and that'll push your fluid through and bleed your brakes. And you could do it on all 4 corners. Also, quick note, when bleeding the brakes on the Prius, keep an eye on your reservoir. Make sure it doesn't go below the minimum, because it'll throw a code and the accumulator will stop running and you won't be able to do it the cheap way like that. To reset your codes, you're gonna want to put your foot on the brake, turn it on to ready, and then come down here and get your paper clip and put it into the 5th one on the top and the 4th one on the bottom, just like that. Clip it in, 5th one on the top, 4th one on the bottom, and then it'll pop up this diagnosis check, and then all of your lights up there will start flashing like that. They'll start flashing like that, and then you'll pump your brakes and then turn off the car, and then take the paper clip out and then turn it back on, and all the lights will go off. Once you get everything done and you bled your brakes and you kept an eye on the reservoir and you torqued your wheels to 76 foot-pounds, now you can take a test drive.